Hello, everyone. I'm Miss Jessica. I am the Teen Program Director, and welcome to the Great Futures Fair. To kick us off, we have our very own Miss Patti, who is the founder and CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Westchester Liberty. So, welcome, Miss Patti. For the first question, I would just like to know just a little bit about yourself.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here. So a little bit about myself is I was born and raised in Maineville, Ohio, not too far from where the club is now. And I graduated from Little Miami High School, and I went to college at Miami University, where I was majored in business education. And my first job in the field was at Reading High School. I got married and had my first job in the same, like within 3 months of each other, and that was in 1970. And I taught school at Reading, and then after a few years, I became pregnant and decided that I was going to step down from the position and raise my children. And so I had 2 children and raised the kids. And in the meantime, life goes on, and we settled in Westchester early on with our first house, and loved Westchester. Just thought it was a great place to raise a family. And then we moved on. And had built another house, and my husband got a better job, and how you do through the years. And eventually I decided that I was going to do some charitable work. I just got pulled into that with Debbie Boehner was running a charity event and asked me to help her, and I really enjoyed doing that. And so from there I raised money for this person and that person and this charity and that charity. And then one day I was having dinner, and my husband said to me, we need a community foundation in this town. He said, look at Middletown. They're saving for their community in the future. We need to do that. So I always say, because I do everything my husband tells me to do, I became started my journey of starting the community foundation. And that's how I've been able to impact the community, because we have something there that is telling people how, or teaching people, or enabling people to be generous in our community and start many, many things that could help in the future. So I know that you wanted me to say something about my childhood, and so I was an only child, and as an only child, you have a lot of time with your parents, and I had wonderful parents. And I also, you have to find new friends, and you're always looking for new friends and people to share your life with, etc. So I had a great experience through that, and through high school, and I just felt like, my friends became my family, and that's what I feel like today. My friends are my family, because I had a very small family, mom and dad, and my dad, he died when I was 21, but my mom, I took care of her. Dick and I, my husband, took care of her for until she was 101. She passed away at home with us at 101. So I'm very blessed to have had my mom for all those years. She was quite a role model for me, and her role model was, that with the work ethic. We have a work ethic. We're going to get things done. And she always, even though we had little money, because my dad worked in the factory and my mom sold Avon, and so, but I never felt like we were poor or anything like that. But we didn't have a lot of the extras, and so growing up was a great experience for me. And with, but I always wanted friends over, and that was very important to me. And I think that my mom gave me dance lessons, and I love to sing and dance, and I did that kind of thing. And to this day, I like doing singing and dancing was a great thing for me. So I know that you were talking about, how does this encourage people into the future? What do you use in your past that you use in the future? And I think it's your core values. God was a big part of my life. I always, went to church and did my prayers every night and talked to God, and he's gotten me through some very tough situations. I know that, I had a boyfriend in high school that went on to Vietnam War. We were in the age of the Vietnam War, and I remember I prayed for his safe return every single day of my life until he returned home safely. And now, I had worked out a plan for my life. I was going to be a secretary, I was going to be a mother, I was going to be this, and I was going to be that. But you have to leave yourself open. And so that came to me when I was at Ursuline, when they tapped me and said, "You've got to come to work for us and help us raise money." They saw something in me that I didn't know I had, and I was there for several years. And then that gave me the inspiration. Dick mentioned the community foundations, so then I did the community foundations, and then I had people coming to me that they had ideas and I could help them. So we started the Angel Fund, which is big in our community. It's a fund that helps people in need, but they're it's a one-time thing, so that if you see a neighbor that's in trouble, you can call us. You cannot apply for it directly, but you could call us and say, my neighbor is really in trouble. They could use some help. They need some money and blah, blah, blah. And then we could step in and help that out. We also did that for the veterans. We started a Kids to Camp program.
Oh, wow.
And that was a really emotional time for me, because I'd spent some time, because if you start a charity, you got to have money to give the money away to. And we really didn't have much in our community. Mm-hmm. So my thought was, okay, I'm going to go to the schools and I'm going to see what the schools need. So I spent 2 or 3 days at Shawnee Elementary and talked with the teachers on what did they need and what did they want. And the one thing that they wanted to do was to send kids to camp. They said, our kids don't get a chance to go to camp, and we think it'd be great if we could send them there for charity. So I walked out of that meeting that day. It's always in my head. I can remember I sat down in my car and I thought, how am I going to raise any money to send kids to camp? Where is that going to come from? So I drove back home, and the next morning I go into the club and not to the club, but to our office. And the secretary says, "You have a phone call here. Would you return this to a donor that I had?" So the donor said, "Can you meet me for lunch?" So I said, "Sure." So I met her for lunch, and she handed me a check for $15,000.
Wow.
And she says, "I don't know what you want to do with this, but do something special." And honestly, every time I say this, it just makes me very emotional, because I said, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to send kids to camp. We are going to send kids to camp. Week-long summer camp. And we outfitted them with their blankets and their sunscreen and T-shirts and tennis shoes, and we wanted them to go to that club and to the camp and have a wonderful, wonderful time. And that family has provided for us ever since at the Community Foundation. They have funded that program. So then I ended up, you just have to wait and listen for what is offered to you, and you can't close your mind and say you have to be determined, but then you also have to let other instances come into your life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have answered a lot of my questions that I had prepared, so thank you for that. Some things I did want to highlight was definitely like the life advice that you provide. Always be determined, have a plan, but be flexible and be, ready for change when needed. And it kind of sounds like, you're not afraid to ask for help. I think sometimes we have members who want to just be on their own path, do their own thing, and they don't ask for help. And it's okay to ask for help. And also another thing I wanted to highlight, I loved that you said, give without, necessarily needing something in return. With all that being said, what other advice kind of comes to mind, thinking back to like when you were in elementary school or in high school, getting ready for that next stage of life? What advice do you have for our members who are thinking about their next step after graduation?
Well, I think that after you graduate, you have to get a job, obviously. I mean, I had to pay my way through school. My mom and dad had saved some money. Anytime I got anything for a birthday present or whatever, if it was cash, it went into my account for college. But it still didn't have enough there. And so I had a job, and you don't want to sell yourself short. I can remember I went for my first job interview. I had no experience, or really nobody really coached me on it. And so the gentleman says, "How much do you want to make an hour, Patti?" And I said, I think I said $5. And he looked at me and he goes, "Well, I'm going to hire you, but you're not going to make $5. We're going to start you like at $1.75. So, you oversell yourself, but at least he saw that, I did. I said, okay, I got $1.75 an hour, but I was doing $5 an hour work.
Yes. I love that mindset. You also mentioned, you had hobbies of singing and dancing, and you still partake in those activities today. So obviously hobbies are still important to you, even while you're, having an amazing workload. So what advice do you have for members continuing to follow their dreams, or finding a way to incorporate that in their careers?
Well, I think that anything that you do that you enjoy, you should continue with, because it just brings a lot of peace to you. So when I'm driving along in the car and nobody's with me, I turn on the radio and I sing to the songs, and it makes me happy. And nobody has to hear it. I just enjoy it. And I think that that's a very important thing to do, to take those things that you've learned in dancing. I love to, do exercise now, and I dance to exercise. So it all kind of plays into the package of how I developed and what I do. It's for a lifetime. That if you've got things that you like to do, you should do them for a lifetime. I played tennis for a while, and then I loved tennis, but I broke my ankle in 2 places, and the doctor said, you can't break your ankle again, we can't fix it. So I kind of quit tennis, but that was another hobby I really liked. But if you're doing something you enjoy, it'll make you a happy person. And if you have the right mindset, you're open to all kinds of things. It's only when you get grumpy and you start feeling down on yourself when you need help. And if that happens and you can't get out of it, then you need to seek help. You've just got to have faith in yourself, and you have to take what's there that can be offered to you, and listen and learn and make changes sometimes. And be grateful for all that you have.
Yes. Yeah, I love, again, you mentioned, seeking help if you need it, having a good mindset always, no matter your circumstances, is a huge other life advice that I myself follow to this day. And being grateful. Yes, I love that. All right. So kind of as we wrap up, I would love kind of to end on a fun note as well. Do you have a favorite childhood memory or a fun story you could wrap up our time today?
Wow. I have a favorite childhood memory. Well, I tell you, I got lots of memories for childhood. I guess, one was we didn't have a lot of money, so we did have a vacation to Atlantic City that we do maybe every 4 years we get to go on a vacation, and that was always a wonderful memory. Driving to Atlantic City and seeing the ocean, and it was just fun. It was fun, and it was a week of joy.
Yeah. So
those are my fun memories. I love that. And my mom and dad went, and we had a cousin that came, and an aunt and uncle that came, and it was very special.
I love that. That's beautiful. Yeah, memories are a huge thing to me too. Always something to look back on. So I try to remind myself to live in the moment, but also, when I am feeling down, I can always have some good memories to think back on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and good friends. Good friends when you're in when you're down, call good friends,
Yes.
and share that with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you, Miss Patti, for your time. We will wrap up today. If you have any questions for Miss Patti or want to get in contact with Miss Patti or myself, please reach out to the BGC social media sites and we will get in touch. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. And thanks for all you do at the club. You're an amazing young woman.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Jessica.
Yeah.
God bless.